welcome to the channel. So in this video we will learn about how to create custom exception in Python. So in our earlier video we have learned about how we can use try, except, finally, how we can raise an exceptions and all, right? So in this video we'll cover about custom exceptions. Okay, so before we start, why we should create our custom exception when Python already provides us inbuilt exceptions, right? So in some cases, in some cases, what happen is the built-in exceptions provided by Python is not sufficient for us. Okay, so in that case, custom exceptions comes in. Okay, so in this video we will explore that. Okay, and how to use custom exception class in Python. Okay, so why to create custom exceptions? As I have already explained, right? Many built-in function means built-in exceptions like value error or file not found error. Okay, these are not sufficient for our problem. Okay, so in that case we define custom exceptions. So it allows us to define error in a more meaningful way, and this make debugging a bit easier because it clearly indicate what went wrong, and it also improve the code readability. Okay, by making error more descriptive, we can define our own class, own error message, okay, and all the other details which can help to debug the issues and improve the code readability. Okay, for example, let's say we are creating a banking system. Okay, and if a user tries to withdraw money more than their balance, so in this case the Python don't have any exception which define this criteria, right? Like value error or type error or file not found error, these are not the right exception in this case. So in this case we can define our own custom exceptions like insufficient balance error or insufficient fund error, like that. So we will see a demo in a bit on this. Okay, now how to create a custom exception? So basically it's very simple. We need to define a class, okay, which inherit Python base class exception, basically like this: class name, and then the exception class inheriting from, right? And then we can write our own logic. Okay, if you want to pass some custom error or you want to add some more details, we can write it here instead of pass. Okay, okay, so let's see how we can define insufficient fund error in Python to handle that scenario which I have talked about. Okay, so let's say we have a class. We need to write a custom exception, right? So we are defining a class, and class is called insufficient funds error, and this should be inherit from the exception class, basically. Okay, now we can define init is nothing but a kind of constructor in Python. Okay, so these things will come when we go to object oriented programming. So for now just bear with me. So here we can write self. Okay, now self is nothing but an instance, basically. So we can write super, okay, dot init. Super is nothing but calling the initial method of initializing the exception class, basically parent. And then we can write our own message. Let's say insufficient funds. Okay, and this is very generic, right? Here if we want to say what amount is there and what amount we are trying to extract, so in this method we can pass two more parameters. One is balance and one is amount. So now we can write more descriptive exception like tried to withdraw amount, but balance is not balance. So now using this message user will know, okay, what is the balance and what is the amount they are trying to withdraw basically. Okay, now this is custom exceptions is ready. Okay, now what we can do, let's say we have our another class. I'll just define a simple method. I'm not going into the class. Let's say withdraw. There is a method called withdraw. We need to define a class basically. Class bank account, something like that. Okay, and then here we have a method, okay, which have a parameter balance. Okay, we can set self dot balance is equal to balance. Okay, sorry. In it, and then here we are setting the balance in that instance. Okay, now in this withdraw method we can check if the amount, here we need to pass the amount, if the amount, okay, whatever we are trying to withdraw is greater than the balance. So in this case we can raise this insufficient fund error exception, raise insufficient fund balance exception, and here we need to pass two parameter. One is balance, which is this one, and one is amount. Okay, if not, then self dot balance, we can just deduct the amount whatever is withdraw basically and return self dot balance, something like this. Okay, so you don't have to understand about what is class and inheritance, what is in it. It's just like how we can create and how we can use it for now. Okay, just understand that. Now what we can do, we can use this exception. We can try, let's say we create an instance of bank account by passing the balance amount. Let's say balance is 100, so here we are passing the balance basically, and then we will try to withdraw the amount 200. So now our balance is 100, we are trying to withdraw 200, and we should get some exception. And how we can handle the exception, we can handle it by this insufficient fund error. This one we have already covered in our earlier tutorial, how we can use try and except, and here we can print the message, right? So if I run this program now, you see it says insufficient fund, tried to withdraw 200 but balance is 100. So now this is more descriptive, like user can know that what's going wrong while like withdrawing the amount. So balance is only 100 but they are trying to um, withdraw 200, that's why there is a problem. If I write here 50 rupees, then this is okay, no issues. Okay, so we can print this also so that it will give us the balance amount here. So the balance amount is 50. If I withdraw 30, balance amount is 70, which is coming from here. So like this we can create our own custom exception. It's very simple. Just we need a class name, our error name, and then we can use exception. Okay, now there can be, if you don't want to use this much, you need just a normal exception. So here what we can write is, we don't have to use these things, right? We can just use pass. So now here whatever message you want to give, we can give like insufficient balance, but this one we cannot include the amount or anything. Basically we don't have the balance parameter here, so we can just say insufficient balance basically, let's say, right, as we are not initializing anything. Now when we try to withdraw 200, we will get insufficient balance, but it won't say what is the amount, what is the balance, like that basically. Okay, so we can try to add it here also, that thing, but let me try. Balance is balance, self dot balance. Okay, you see, uh, here also we can add, but the problem is whenever you want to use this exception class, everywhere you have to add this message, right, without using that initialization basically. So that's why adding it here will make it more generic, and we can just use it and print our exception without passing, means every time the message here like this. Okay, so in these scenarios, like we can use our custom exceptions, right? Let's go to the PPT again. Okay, so when to use our custom exception? So whenever the error is very specific to our application logic, like in this case what we saw, insufficient fund error is specific to our banking logic, so that's why uh, we are using uh, we are using that custom exception instead of built-in exception. Okay, and to raise the exception we need to use the raise keyword basically, like this, right? Raise we have already covered in our earlier video. Okay, so we can use it in banking application, like just we saw insufficient fund. We can use it in e-commerce, like if there is any stock which is not available, so we can create our exception like out of stock error, something like that, right? So what is the best practice? So use meaningful names, like here we are using insufficient fund error, which is meaningful. By looking at name, we can say okay, this exception will throw if the fund is uh, if the balance is less and we are trying to withdraw more, so it says insufficient fund error. So like that, use a meaningful name. Also provide the meaningful error message. It's not like insufficient fund, just like this, so we will not know here. If I just try to withdraw 200, it will say insufficient fund, which is not very descriptive, like, right, what is the balance, what is the amount, so it's not showing. So always use a meaningful message like this. So like insufficient balance here, like this, insufficient fund, tried to withdraw 200 but balance is 100. So use meaningful message, and also create when necessary. You don't have to overuse the custom exception. If you think your logic needs a custom exception, then use it. Otherwise, if the built-in exception is sufficient for the logic, then use the built-in exception, right? So I hope this video is clear, how to create custom exception, where to use, when to use. Okay, so in the next video we will explore about how to log the exception, like instead of just printing it, how we can record the error, and for our debugging and monitoring purpose in a real world application. Okay, so I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel and put your comments in the comment box if you have any further question on custom exception. Thank you for watching.